This video is sponsored by Aura, the all-in-one identity protection platform. Human intelligence, signals intelligence, and open source intelligence. These terms play a crucial role within the intelligence communities that feed information for military operations. All units within the military rely on a form of any of these means of getting intelligence before heading into operations, whether it involves humans, signals, or analyzing public information. No military operation gets a green light without them. These intelligence agencies work overtime and mostly go unnoticed, all while they are equally important. Later on, we will dive into how Tier 1 and 2 special forces use this information and these techniques to their advantage. But we first need to dive into what these forms of intelligence gathering actually mean and how they are used. HUMINT. Human intelligence is a method of intelligence gathering that involves collecting information through direct or indirect interaction with people. It relies on human sources such as agents, informants, or defectors to gather valuable insights, often in sensitive or high-risk situations where this form of intelligence can mean life or death. HUMINT plays a vital role in espionage efforts, counterintelligence, and national security operations. Although I focus more on the military applications and targets, this of course can also be applied within society itself. This presumably happens more often than we think and closely intertwines with military capabilities. HUMINT relies on recruitment and handling of spies, interrogation efforts of captured enemies, interviews with local residents, covert monitoring or eavesdropping on key individuals, and engagement in diplomatic spheres to gather intelligence on foreign governments. One of the biggest factors, and also one of the most underestimated ones, is asking locals for specific information in the country of origin. Of course, this is done with caution, as locals can also tip off the people of interest. Next to this, an important part of HUMINT is the exchange of information, especially the physical information like documents and pictures. The dropping of information is referred to as dead drops. In espionage, this technique involves leaving or exchanging information or materials in hidden locations for retrieval by other operatives without direct contact. These hidden locations could be anything from hollowed-out objects to inconspicuous places in public areas, which allows secretive communication between handlers and spies. A big role in HUMINT is also psychological operations. This includes spreading propaganda, conducting disinformation campaigns, or shaping perceptions to gain an advantage and getting an individual, a crowd, or even a nation into a certain state of mind. This is, of course, to manipulate political decisions or to force individuals to start sharing secrets. Psychological operations are an extremely powerful tool for which governments have dedicated teams as part of special units. Examples of these units are the British Political Warfare Executive during World War II, or the Political Action Group of the CIA's Special Activities Center. Besides running this channel and my interests in history and the military, I have a full-time job in cybersecurity. Now, there is a lot of questionable tooling when it comes to safeguarding your online presence. So when I was approached by Aura, I was a bit skeptical. By the sponsorship in this video, you might already know how I changed my mind, but I think it's a game changer. Over the past few weeks, I've immersed myself in the comprehensive suite of identity theft protection tools, and I can confidently say that my skepticism quickly turned into enthusiasm about the product and its features. You now have the chance to try it out too. There's a link in the description, or you can navigate to aura.com/The Spy Network. But maybe before doing that, let me tell you all about my personal experience. Aura's primary feature, its vigilant scanning capability, constantly scours through the internet and dark web, trying to locate any traces of my personal information. Whether it's lurking in the depths of the dark web or inadvertently exposed on a seemingly harmless website, Aura ensures that I'm promptly notified of any potential risks to my identity. Although this offers peace of mind, it also serves as a tool to create the right awareness. But Aura doesn't stop at merely alerting me to potential threats. It empowers me with actionable intelligence to mitigate these risks effectively. Through personalized tips and recommendations, I've gained invaluable insight into my online security posture. From tightening privacy settings on social media platforms to implementing robust password management practices, Aura ensures you are one step ahead of any threats to your online identity. Moreover, Aura's commitment to holistic security extends beyond just identity theft protection. Its comprehensive suite of services includes some great tools for managing more than just alerts for misuse of your credentials. Aura provides a VPN service, credit score management, a password manager, social media privacy scanner, and a 2FA or two-factor authentication manager, which manages your accounts where you have two forms of authentication enabled. All this is packed in an easy-to-understand and user-friendly interface, which is tailored for ease of use, and they provide tons of information to learn more about their features to make sure you understand their tools and the information thoroughly. So if you're looking for a personal guardian constantly monitoring your digital footprint, I have a nice gift for you. Viewers of the channel now get the chance to try it out for 2 weeks free of charge and without hassle. The link is in my description, where you can navigate to aura.com/the Spy Network and give it a try. I hope you will be as pleasantly surprised by it as I was. Let's get back to the video. SIGINT. Signals intelligence involves the gathering and examining of intercepted electronic signals, such as communication transmissions and radar emissions. It entails monitoring and deciphering these signals to get important information about adversary capabilities, intentions, and actions. SIGINT is an important part of modern intelligence collection, giving insights into communication networks, electronic warfare, and possible threats. A crucial element of SIGINT is the clandestine operations surrounding it. It is as effective as the duration you are able to do it covertly. Or, well, that only counts if you are not a three-lettered agency, of course. To make it tangible, a real-world example of SIGINT is the interception and analysis of encrypted communications between terrorist operatives by intelligence agencies. By monitoring their phone calls, emails, or other electronic transmissions, SIGINT analysts can uncover important details about terrorist networks, their plans, and potential targets. This information can then be used to disrupt terrorist activities. The most common tools used in such operations are satellites for geospatial context, IMSI catchers for intercepting phone communications, or specialized hardware, with specialized software installed on it for deciphering encrypted communication. This, together with the usual suspects like hidden cameras, microphones, or tracking devices. It is common for specialized units or specially trained operators to utilize specific equipment to gather intelligence on the battlefield. This equipment can include specialized antennas, receivers, and processing systems designed to intercept, analyze, and exploit electronic signals. These systems may vary depending on the specific needs and are sizable enough to be carried around and can quickly be set up and broken down. This is, of course, not limited to ground stations, but can also be flown around as UAVs or attached to drones. This will vary on the specific missions, weather conditions, and aerial defenses of the adversaries. Of course, this is not the only way the military intercepts signals. There are large facilities spread around the world who operate on a far larger scale. A facility that is notorious for its SIGINT operations is Pine Gap. Situated in the middle of the outback in Australia and hailed in secrecy, the CIA runs one of the most secure and sophisticated signals intelligence and satellite tracking sites. Initially a site to track and monitor Soviet missile capabilities, it has grown out to one of the biggest, if not the biggest, satellite surveillance bases of the world. Data analytics also play a crucial role in SIGINT. It is one thing to gather this data, but to make sense of it is another. Specific machine learning algorithms and advanced big data analytics software are tailored for these specific use cases and get increasingly good at making correlations between millions of data points and signals. Of course, this also has a downside. We increasingly rely on these systems to make good decisions while it is as good or bad as it has been programmed to be. An example of units that gather signals intelligence and feed this to military counterparts are the Intelligence Support Activity and the Special Collection Service. You can find videos for both of these units on my channel. OSINT. Open source intelligence involves collecting and analyzing publicly available information to gain insights into enemy capabilities, intentions, and activities. This can include monitoring social media, news reports, public statements, and other open sources to gather intelligence relevant to military operations. OSINT helps military planners to enhance situational awareness, assess potential threats, and make informed decisions. Tracking the movements of military units by analyzing geotagged posts from soldiers or personnel stationed in specific locations is also not uncommon. You'll be amazed how often this happens. There are even instances of special forces operators running in remote parts of the world where normal citizens usually do not visit. They then upload their running data to Strava, which basically turns your mobile device into a beacon that sends out information which is in direct contact to a GPS. You guessed it. This data is then uploaded into the cloud, and when profiles are not set to private, it means their positions were compromised for everyone to see. Seeing a heat map of hundreds of laps on the same piece of land in a remote desert in a place where most people do not visit will lead to some great insights. Mistakes are made every so often, and technology is improving at a higher rate than we can often comprehend or get used to. Next to these examples, there is also the analysis of public sentiment on social media to assess the potential for civil unrest or political instability, and using this to one's advantage, or the monitoring of social media accounts affiliated with terrorist organizations to gather intelligence on their activities, recruitment efforts, and propaganda strategies to learn more about a certain organization. Identifying and tracking the spread of disinformation or propaganda campaigns aimed at influencing public opinion or undermining military operations falls under the counter-espionage efforts, but is also being done with the help of social media platforms and thus OSINT. Now that we know the three main pillars of intelligence gathering, let's have a look at how this is being leveraged by Tier 1 and Tier 2 special forces. I'd like to give some examples throughout the years to give you an idea of how these techniques are used and how successful, yet controversial, it has become throughout the years. During the Great War on Terror in Afghanistan, a controversial but highly effective system was made for the specific targeting of individuals, using electromagnetic signals and big data analytics. You guessed it, this is signals intelligence without any budget limits. Drones equipped with specific sensors, large databases full of names, voice and face recognition, and satellite tracking helped the U.S. military to target and identify specific key individuals of the Taliban's top ranks. As has been outlined in research regarding these practices, Predator drones and special jets equipped with sensors were constantly searching for the radio signals from known telephone numbers tied to the Taliban. The hunt began as soon as the mobile phones were switched on. These are very advanced IMSI catchers, and they are not only used for military purposes. They are often spotted at large protests and gatherings in cities around the world, where just bringing your phone enables local law enforcement agencies to be able to track you digitally. Britain's GCHQ and the U.S. National Security Agency maintained long lists of Afghan and Pakistani mobile phone numbers belonging to Taliban officials. A sophisticated mechanism was activated whenever a number was detected. If there was already a recording of the enemy combatant's voice in the archives, it was used for identification purposes. If the pattern matched, preparations for an operation could begin. The attacks were so devastating for the Taliban that they instructed their fighters to stop using mobile phones. This system, later revealed by Edward Snowden to be condemned as center ice, was a game changer. Not only did it eliminate the need for printing confidential documents as hard copies and handing them out to close allies to share intelligence, but it gave the NSA a carte blanche in intelligence gathering in Afghanistan. Together with their Norwegian counterpart, the NIS, they tested and trialed this system on a large scale, and it was proven to be highly effective and efficient. On numerous accounts in the early stages, Norwegian troops were saved by the intelligence provided by Center ICE, and many more as they became increasingly better in handling this system and what it produced. But it grew out to be bigger than a region, country, or even a specific group of people of interest. It grew so big that it started to gnaw at the insides of the analysts that used and leveraged it. A set of documents from the Snowden archive shed light on the lack of oversight or control over how the data it collected was used. It eventually became apparent that the system was used on the citizens of the Allied countries, presumably to train the system to handle the data more efficiently. This showcases the dangers of these kinds of systems, as the people being subjected to it are mere entries in a large database, and systems are programmed to make life-altering decisions. Oleg Penkovsky. In the heart of the Cold War, amidst the tense standoff between East and West, a remarkable figure emerged, Oleg Penkovsky, a colonel in the GRU, which is the Soviet Military Intelligence Agency. Little did the world know, Penkovsky was harboring a deeply rooted discomfort with the Soviet regime and a burning desire to prevent a nuclear conflict. It was in the shadows of Moscow's maze-like streets that Penkovsky's clandestine journey began.
В ноябре 1960 года я решил войти в контакт с американской разведкой, для чего я подготовил письмо, в котором высказал эту.
In the year 1960, British intelligence officers, recognizing Penkovsky's discontent and potential, made contact with him. Drawn by the promise of liberty and a chance to thwart the destructive course of his homeland, Penkovsky cautiously agreed to collaborate. With access to classified information within the GRU, Penkovsky became a conduit for a torrent of secrets flowing to the West. Through numerous covert meetings and ingenious concealment methods like microfilm tucked into innocuous objects like cigarette packets, he smuggled out a trove of intelligence gems. His revelations were nothing short of incredible. Detailed blueprints of Soviet missile sites, strategic military plans, and insights into nuclear development, all laid bare before the eyes of Western intelligence agencies. The CIA and MI6 were enthralled by the treasure trove Penkovsky provided, meticulously analyzing each piece to discern its truth and significance. The impact of Penkovsky's intelligence reverberated through the corridors of power on both sides of the Iron Curtain. Western policymakers found themselves armed with unprecedented insights into Soviet capabilities and intentions. His information not only shaped strategic decisions, but also influenced delicate negotiations and military planning. But amidst the cloak and dagger intrigue, danger lurked. The walls have ears, they say, and Penkovsky's audacious double life did not go unnoticed by the watchful eyes of Soviet intelligence. Suspicion mounted, shadows grew longer, until the inevitable moment arrived. In 1962, the curtain fell on Penkovsky's daring escapade. Betrayed, captured, and subjected to the merciless justice of the Soviet regime, he paid the ultimate price for his audacity, his life. Yet his legacy endures. Oleg Penkovsky's story stands as a testament to the power of human intelligence, the perilous dance of espionage, and the enduring quest for truth in the midst of darkness. His sacrifice, though tragic, serves as a beacon of hope, a reminder of the indomitable spirit that dares to defy tyranny and shape the course of history. If you like these kinds of videos, consider subscribing for more content, and please let me know what you think of the video. See you all in the next one.